Alright folks, so today we're going to make a low carb keto style lasagna using the zero net carb wraps made by Mission. And I'm just preparing my ground meat, and I'm going to use these here crushed tomatoes to make my sauce with. And I've already opened the can. Always be prepared. Alright, so the meat mixture is done, and I'm just going to add in the crushed tomatoes, and I'm just going to stir and combine it really well. This big can and that small pack of meat was plenty enough to make my lasagna sauce, and I love blending my own because I don't like the MSG. There's enough in the crushed tomatoes on their own, so now we're just going to add in a little Italian seasoning, fair amount, because you want that in there because it helps with the flavor. Then we're going to use a little bit of onion powder. Well, we're going to use a good bit of onion powder to get the oniony flavor in there. I like to use a good amount of it. And from there we're going to just get some garlic powder. Like I said, there's enough MSG in the tomatoes for my taste, so that is all we're going to use. And then we're going to stir it up to get all that blended in together. And we just want to kind of let it cook until it thickens is the plan here. I got stuff all in my way. I almost forgot the fennel seed, so I'm going to add some fennel in there real quick because I like fennel in my Italian meats. So yeah, I mean, some people like it, some people don't. It's totally optional. It's up to you. I love the taste of fennel. Alright, so now we're going to make our cheese mixture. Instead of ricotta, I like to make my own mixture. There's a big hit in this house. And we're using the Philadelphia cream cheese, of course. Alright, so you just take the whole Philadelphia cream cheese. Now I've got that set at room temperature. And then a small container of sour cream. And you just want to put that into a mixing bowl like you see here. Whatever you have will work just fine. Like I said, the cream cheese is room temperature, so it is pre-softened to make things easier. Next, I'm going to take my stand mixer here, and I'm just going to mix all of this together until it's a creamy consistency. Yep, it's real thick, but that's why the room temperature comes in handy for the cream cheese to help it smush down and mix a little better. Alright, so once we get all of that mixture combined, you just check it with a spoon to make sure there's no chunks, and this is very fine. And I'm going to add feta cheese to it because I like the taste of feta. It goes well in this mixture, and it is a perfect substitute once you do it this way for ricotta, and you get all the cheese flavor from the cream cheese as well. So yeah, there you go. You just dump it in there, and then you just take and you just stir it around really good. Stir it around really well until everything becomes combined and incorporated. And I'm here to tell you what, you will love it if you try it. I highly recommend it. My whole family loves it, I tell you that. It is really good, and I used to make this with the regular lasagna. So alright, so from there I'm just going to grease the bottom of this aluminum pan, what I'm going to be making the lasagna in, with a little bit of lard here. You can use cooking spray or butter or whatever you want. I like using lard because it really helps to keep things from sticking. It's what I use for my cornbread, and it works like a charm. You just want to Get your hand in there and spread it out all over the bottom. You don't have to worry about the sides too much, but coat the bottom really well with something to keep it non-stick, just in case. Alright, so now I'm just going to take my shells here, and I'm going to layer them in the pan, just like you would lasagna noodles. And we're going to just place them in this pan, you know, until we got all of the bottom covered. That is the point behind this right here. So as I'm finishing up, your next step is going to be add some of your meat mixture onto the top of those 4 shells. We're just going to dip it out, and we're going to put a pretty chunky layer of meat on the bottom. You want to get a fair amount for the bottom. It depends on how deep your the pan that you're using is, but for me, I wanted a good thick layer on the bottom of those shells, or those lasagna noodles, or whatever you want to call them at this point, because right now they are definitely lasagna noodles as far as I'm concerned. And at this point in the video, I have no idea how they're going to turn out until after it is done. But I figure, you know, this is an idea that I thought of, and I've used different things. I've used zucchini to layer the bottom for noodles before, which worked out really well, but they were really watery. It tasted fine, but they were really watery, and they really weren't the best shell replacement for a lasagna. So I figured these would work really well, so I decided to give that a try out. So now we're just gonna layer the top of that meat with more shells. Depending on the size of your dish, it only took 4 shells for this small pan that you could get at, you know, pretty much any of your dollar stores and stuff. It comes with a little plastic top so you can save your leftovers. It's pretty convenient, and it don't cost very much at all, and it saves on easy cleanup too. So I accidentally dropped the shell that Oscar's coming to take care of. Alright, so now that we got that layer, it's time for our cream cheese mixture, and we want to put it on pretty thick as well, because I like a thick layer of meat and a thick layer of cheese, both in my lasagna. So we're just going to take and put that all over the top, and don't even worry about spreading it over the little corners of meat. You can spread it over the entire thing just like you were icing a cake. But that's what I am doing here, and I want to use as much of the meat mixture as I can, but I want to save room for another layer too, and we're about halfway up this pan already, so I want to save a thin layer for the top layer, because I'm aiming for a 3-layer lasagna here. And you could use other things too. If you like spinach or anything like that in there, you could totally get away with using that as well. But you know, I was just wanting the meat and the cheese in this one. You know, not all of my family likes the spinach layer, so I opted not to use it this time, since I'll be sharing the dish with others. You know, thinking of, you know, everyone and not just myself. But I totally like the spinach layer. Anyway, from there you just want to layer 4 more shells. 4 more shells on the top. Well, depending on the size of your dish, like I said, once again, it only took 4 shells per layer in this dish to do the job. And yeah, I was actually surprised at how well all of this was going when I was in the process of making it. So now we just want to put another layer of the meat mixture, not quite as thick as before, and I like to make it pretty, so I don't cover, you know, all the way to the ends on this. I just cover, and leave some of the shell exposed, or noodle, or whatever you want to call it at this point. It's a noodle right now. But yeah, you just want to, but it's totally fine if you want to, layer the whole thing. And if you got enough room in your pan, make it as thick as you want, because the thicker the better. I mean, you just can't go wrong. Lasagna is going to be good no matter what you do, right? So I just want to, leave a decent presentation at the end here. So I just kind of, take it about that far and not all the way over, and just fill in the middle to my desired liking. And I'm trying to leave, no middle exposed with the shell. I'm trying to get enough meat mixture, and we got plenty here, and we're gonna have a little left over because this is a small, tiny dish that I'm using. I went this route in case it wasn't good, in case it wasn't good, but you never know until you experiment, right? So now we're just gonna go grade some fresh mozzarella. I got about a half a block here. And I don't like to over cheese my lasagna. I like to use just enough, so we're just gonna do enough to cover the meat mixture here. So I cut the block in half, and I got half for later. I can make more meat mixture if need be. I've got plenty of cheese there. I can do this entire lasagna dish one more time, which might, wind up happening depending on how much everyone loves it. And I know my family is a lasagna family for sure, and my son loves it, my wife, myself. So now I'm just going to preheat my oven on my air fryer, because it's got an oven feature on there. 375 for 20 minutes, and we're just going to set it in there, let it do its thing, and what do you know? 20 minutes went by fast, didn't it? It is done. And there it is. That's what it looks like. That's what I'm talking about right there. Man, does that look good or what? Looks good. But let's give it a good old try here. I gotta get it out gently because it is hot. Make sure you use some kind of oven mitt. We still got Valentine's stuff up, so we haven't traded out for the Easter stuff yet. So and mine was pink. But anyway, there is your presentation. Don't that look good? That look like it's store-bought. Looks like one of those Stouffer's lasagnas that you get. And that was kind of the look I was going for when I was decorating it. Alright, so now we have nothing left to do but try this bad boy out. I'm already giving it a 2 thumbs up because of how good it looks. But wow, I just got me a serving spatula here. And I was worried about how hard it would be to cut, but actually it cuts easier than the actual lasagna does itself. And you can really dip up under that bottom layer there. Look at that. Look at that. Well, that little bit of that layer is flapping off the end there. But it totally works. I mean, it just holds together well. Look at that cream cheese mixture in the middle, y'all. See how thick that is? That's the way I like it right there. And I swear, this cream cheese mixture that I got, if you decide to try that out, you're going to love it. It is absolutely amazing. I got to show it off to you. And it's sliding on the plate. It's a little slick, I guess, from that lard that was on the bottom, coating it, keeping it from sticking to the bottom. But now we're just going to give this thing a good old tree out here and see how good it is, man. It cuts good with a fork. That is it. That is it right there. Oh, man. I can only begin to describe the taste that's going on right now within my mouth. Definitely 2 shaky thumbs up. And I'm so happy that it worked out, because you just never know. You just never know. But this thing worked out better than any keto lasagna that I have ever tried to make in the past. And I've made some good stuff in the past. But this is by far the best one. The best one by far. Like, honestly, you could not tell that those were not lasagna noodles in there. They totally replicated the lasagna noodles to a 100% exact same thing. And I was blown away. I cannot help but think, wow, my wife, she's doing keto with me now, how much she is going to love this, how much the rest of the family is going to love this. Look at this. Look at that cream cheese. I'm telling y'all gotta try that mixture now. I can't stress it enough. That makes the meal. See how hot that was? Man, I want to tell you what, the top of it slides off of the cream, just like you get a lasagna from the restaurant. It's totally the same. I mean, it is restaurant quality for sure. Make your own sauce. Try that sometime with some crushed tomatoes instead of buying jarred sauce. You will not regret it. Add your own seasonings to it. Your own Italian seasonings to it. You will not regret it. But man, that is it. And I'm just scraping the plate. Scraping the plate. This one was a 100% total success, folks. I really enjoyed this one. I cannot begin to tell you how much I enjoyed this one. It was fantastic.